Well, good afternoon. After a fairly strenuous trail hike today, I finally reached the objective of Herman Lake. And it's right here in the background. You can see the lake in the distance, just a little bit icy on the fringes of the lake. It's been cold enough up here to freeze at least part of the lake. But it's only October 8th, so you know in no time this lake will be frozen over and there'll be a lot of snow on the ground. But as you can see, there's not very much up here. It's been a fairly dry early fall here in Colorado's high country, which is a continuation of the excessive drought that we've experienced in the high country and the adjacent high plains for quite some time. So let's take some time to look around a bit. The elevation where I'm standing is probably about, let's say about 12,020, give or take. But it's some pretty good panoramas around here. Let's take a swing off to the southwest here and take a look at marvelous expression here called the Citadel. I remember talked about that a little bit when we were on Loveland Pass. But that is the Citadel. I'm not exactly sure of its elevation, but it's probably about 13,195 or thereabouts, maybe a little higher. Zoom in on it just a bit. You can see the intricate details that God has carved in the Citadel. Swing a little bit more to the west. I'm not sure that mountain on the skyline there. There are several named peaks in the area, and that one I'm not sure of. We can swing around to another named peak we've already identified previously in this video series. Right there we see the summit of Pettingell Peak, rising to 13,553 feet. And just at the foot of Pettingell Peak you can see Herman Lake. The timberline in this area typically is about 11,500 feet, but as you can see there are some elements of the incipient timberline creeping up gradually up the south sides of Pettingell Peak. There seems to be some willows possibly over there that are losing their leaves or have lost their leaves, and then some early spruce tree growth as it climbs slowly but surely above the 12,000 foot level on Pettingell Peak. There's so many marvelous views that the Lord has created around here. Now here's another peak off to the east a little bit, and I don't know the name of it. Let's take a look up the side here. A lot of rusty colored mountains in this area. There's been a lot of hydrothermal activity in the rocks from the tremendous judgments that took place on the planet during the flood. So a lot of water was involved and really altered these rocks considerably. And then we look a little more off to the southeast here perhaps. A little bit more down the trail where I came from, you can see some of the peaks that occupy that region as well. Nice big boulder in the foreground there. You can possibly see the trail also. And I'll be heading back down there in just a bit. This is again the Herman Gulch trail. It starts at I-70 west of the town of Silver Plume on the way to Loveland Pass, and proceeds to the north up Herman Gulch to this lovely little alpine lake that we have here. Again, there's some indications there was glaciation here. There's a lot of boulders that look like they've kind of been pushed around by the activity of the Ice Age, especially over here by the Citadel. There may be some scouring on the sides of that mountain and some expressions of glacial activity at one time. Not the greatest area for observing glacial topography perhaps, but a beautiful area nonetheless. It'd be wonderful to have anybody that's seeing this video to come up with me on these hikes, and if you're ever interested in taking a hike like this, I'd be more than welcome to have you come along, or a field trip somewhere in the Colorado high country so I can show you some of the beautiful scene, topographic expressions that God has placed up here in this high mountain and wilderness, and to give Him the praise and the glory for what He has put here. This is not a product of Big Bang, Higgs boson, evolution, old earth, whatever you want to call it. This is a product of God's work of creation and His eventual judgment. It's getting a little bit breezy up here, so I better grab the camera before it tips over. Don't want to break it on the way down. So we'll talk to you next time as we head down the trail. Good day.